Hi there, thanks for coming to this 5-minute class. I'm Jennifer Croft and I'll be teaching you how to calculate gross profit. If you like this class, we have a bunch of other classes and free resources available at www.5minuteclasses.com. Okay, let's start out by just talking about what is gross profit. What's the definition of it? And gross profit is the amount of revenue after you've subtracted cost of goods. And so the mathematical formula is sales minus cost of goods equals gross profit. And in this example I'm showing here in yellow, the price of the sale was $10, the cost of goods was $4, and so $6 was the gross profit. So you might wonder, what is cost of goods? And so cost of goods is the amount that it costs to produce or procure a product. And so we usually use the phrasing produce if you're the manufacturer of it, or procure if you're the store owner or e-commerce owner where you're buying or obtaining it. So that's cost of goods. So how do you calculate cost of goods? If you're the manufacturer, you'll want to figure in the amount that it costs you in terms of labor and materials or supplies. And if you pay shipping on those materials or supplies, you'll also add that into your cost of goods. If you're a distributor or store owner, it's pretty straightforward. It's what you paid to buy the product. And again, you'll want to add shipping into that if you end up paying shipping. So when I teach this class in person, I like to ask people to try to describe gross profit as if they were explaining it to a 3-year-old, and they come up with some pretty interesting explanations. But I'm going to give you a really succinct one that you'll appreciate, which is I explain it as gross profit is the part of the pie that you get to keep. And so in this instance that I'm illustrating here, the gross profit is 75%. So I get to keep 3/4 of the pie, and another quarter of the pie is going to go away to the vendors that I had to pay for the cost of goods. So the gross profit formula, the mathematical formula, is we're trying to come up with what's your percentage. And this number is a really important number inside your business, is on average what's your gross profit margin. And so how you come up with that is you take the amount of your gross profit divided by the amount of the sale. And in this instance that I'm showing below here in yellow, it's 60%. So how can you improve your gross profit margin? Ideally, we want these margins to be as high as possible, and there's two ways to impact this. One is to lower the cost of goods, so I have some suggestions here for how you can do that. And the second is to raise prices, and so I have some information about that here too. But watch what happens when you do one or both of these things. So first we're going to look at what happens if you just lower the cost of goods. And so in this instance, I'm using the same example as before, where I sell something for 10, costs me 4, my gross profit is $6 or 60%. If I can go and lower that cost of goods to $3.50, then suddenly you see that my gross profit goes up to $6.50 and the gross profit percentage goes up to 65%. The other side of this that I can impact it is by raising prices. And so again, this top example is the one we've been covering. The bottom example is I now take the amount that I'm selling it for and I increase it from $10 to $12. Cost of goods remains the same at 4. All I've done is a price increase. But that results in me making $8 now instead of $6, which raises my margin from 60% to 66.6%. And so now, what if we did both of those things? Watch what happens. So again, the top example is the one we've been doing all along. But now in the bottom example, we've both raised the price to $12 from 10, and we've lowered the cost of goods from $4 to $3.50. And now suddenly we're making $8.50, which is a 70% margin, 70.8% instead of 60%. Pretty cool. But more importantly, I want to show you how that can add up over a month. So we've been looking at an individual product, but what if we combined all of our sales and all of our cost of goods and gross profit? And so in this lower instance, we go from selling 10,000 to 12,000, lowered our cost of goods from 4 to 3,500, And we now made $8,500 gross profit instead of $6,000. That's an increase of $2,500 per month or $30,000 a year, which can make a huge difference when it drops straight to your bottom line. So here's some great next steps that go along with this class. And we also have some worksheets you can use and a free newsletter that you can sign up for. So thanks for coming to this class and best of luck with your business.